Welcome to the Pitch Podcast, where entrepreneurs and cutting-edge companies come to tell us about the products they're making, the ideas they're spending time on, and the problems they're solving. Here's your host, Warren Spiwak.
Drew Hopkins.
Warren.
It is so weird to you and I know each other virtually, I want to say. Right. I follow you, I know what you're up to. We've had conversations about Novus and the impact that you're making.
Right.
This company that you believe in so much, it really is very client-centric.
It is.
And then at the same time, just through the conversations we've had also, there is a lot of agility, and being with like a privately held company that can maneuver quickly is one of those things that I feel like one of your most proud things about Novus Consulting.
Yeah, it's exactly right. We're growing. Novus has been around for about 4 years now. The key things that acquisitions are happening all over in the market right now, and that was one of the things that we've been prepared for years. Sustainability is something else that all of these companies are working towards, and we've got to have the right crew to do that. And we have been so fortunate and so blessed to be able to hire on some of the most talented people that have worked for E&P companies for the last few years, and to be able to come onto this consulting side and this role to be able to share their expertise and to be able to share that with the entire market, whether it be a small company, mid-size, or all the way up to super major.
And what I love about us, this is the thing about Nape that I think is so great, is what I was alluding to is we finally get to meet in person.
Right.
It's like we actually bumped into each other over at the coffee line. That is something that makes me so proud to be here at Nape, because I feel like you guys have really invested in the community of what we're doing in the oil and gas industry and energy as a whole.
How many years have you come to Nape?
This is like my first one ever.
Really?
But it's been a few years. You got to remember, I got in with the Oil and Gas Global Network in 2020.
Right. Okay.
And then so it's just that kind of threw me off. They've been here. This is my first time here.
So this year was really exciting, and the crowd that we had this year is absolutely amazing. I've been to, I think, the last 8 Napes, and we've seen ups, we've seen downs, it just depending on the market conditions.
It is
but
busy.
To be able to see the entire sponsor row completely filled, to be able to see so many vendors here, it's really encouraging for the market, and it's so good, just like you said, of running into people that you know or that you've talked to on Teams,
right,
or just all of these different things. To be able to see those people, that's the conversations we love to have, for sure.
So that's the other thing, is that I've been going around and I'm asking people, like, how's Nape going for you? And it's interesting how often people are telling me again and again that deals are really happening. They're going, I come here every year. This is what one of the gentlemen I met last night said. He goes, I come here every year because I always get 1 to 2 new clients. Yeah. I get the chance that people are interested in learning about what's the latest, what are the new trends, and that makes me want to get into what you are doing, because I know you've been in a lot of conversations this week.
For sure.
What is a reoccurring theme of where you find there's a gap or something where you're going, I can help you,
100%, I'll tell you, and I guarantee 90% of the people watching this, maybe 95, maybe 100, would say the exact same thing. It's digital transformation. And it's being able to right-size the data that you have. So many people, I don't want to say are siloed, but in many different departments, they have Excel spreadsheets, they've got products that they maybe have signed up for but they haven't used in years, or they're not using to the best of their ability. That has been myself and our group's focus, and kind of our past knowledge of working with EMPs and then working within software companies, of being able to find those right solutions and being able to find the right ways to use those solutions that can benefit companies of all shapes and sizes, just by being able to put the proper rules and procedures in place. And digital transformation is not going away. We see things like the AI revolution that continues that to pick up steam. And that's just the key word that that buzzword that everybody's talking about right now. But it's not going anywhere. And it's groups like ours that are already looking 6 months to 3 years ahead of where we're going to be and how we can help everybody in this room.
Nice. And what I think is what a big intimidation factor about this is when people start to say, oh, I want a piece of that, I want to do that.
Right.
It is a talent stress. Like it is like, who's got the talent? Who has the know-how? Who's got the background? And this company was founded by people that were doing this day in, day out before Novus was even started.
That's right. That's exactly right. So what has made us a little bit different, and what drew me to Novus initially was that background that these people have. And we've got Kate Stevenson, Kevin Decker, Robert Lovelace. I mean, it is just a Chevy Thomason, just people that know data and that are well known in the industry for being able to be problem solvers.
And they can communicate, because half of it is like, when you're in this realm and it's not your forte, you need someone almost to do translation. If you're running an organization, you need a consultant that's going to sit you down and be able to draw the picture for you.
The biggest thing that I would go with there is, when I worked at an E&P, I needed to partner with somebody that had sat in the same chair that I sat in, that knew the problems that I was dealing with, and not someone that maybe had been trained up on it from maybe a consulting side or maybe a software side, and they understood, but they didn't know how it deeply affected our organization. And so that's what I think is just so exciting about what Novus is doing right now, of we've sat in those chairs. We've experienced the same pain points, the same heartburn, and we understand how we can help fix things in a very quick and timely fashion, but also make your long-term plans so much easier. And it's easier on the staff. It's easier on. It just makes life a lot easier, for sure.
And it makes the results come quicker. Something that comes up again and again is, and this is industry-wide, I almost want to say it's every vertical, energy and beyond, is data. There's all these different tools and recommendations. There's a whole lot of technology companies that make different claims.
Right.
When I sat down with you and Kate, I feel like part of the conversation there is saying, hey, there's a whole lot of companies that are vendors, theoretically, that are telling you how they perform.
Right.
We know how they perform. And that's part of this too, is when you're going to make an investment to get to like current times.
Right.
It is almost knowing what partners would be the best for what you're trying to do. And I feel like you guys are part of that as well.
That's exactly right. And what has been a little different for us in working with the software side, when you work for a software, you're dedicated to that software, and that's the one that you know, and that's your baby, that's what you love. In working for a group like Novus, we get to play Switzerland, and we get to be agnostic.
Sure.
And we were always familiar with these other softwares, but like our management team is so ingrained with production and accounting and land and engineering, all the different softwares that are out there. And we are able to work with it. When a company comes to us, and many do, they say, this is our size, this is how many wells we have, this is what our future looks like. What would you suggest is the right software for us to go with? And because we have played in all of those different environments, because we know those management teams, because we know what that implementation is going to look like based on their asset base, we can give a absolutely sterling recommendation that will help their company succeed. And what does that do? That lets them not have to focus so much time on going through demo after demo after demo. After a while, that becomes all foggy and gray.
Demo fatigue, right?
Oh, demo fatigue. It's real. It's totally real. But to be able to sit back and say, we can trust the experts because they have done this for the last 20 years of their life, and they're going to be able to help give us the selections that are perfect for us going forward. So we've really enjoyed doing that, and that's something that I would hang our hat on of a best in the biz for sure.
All right, and just a couple more things. One of the questions I want to ask you is, a lot of times when you're being pitched and you're understanding like what a company is basically telling you what their solution is, for a lot of us, it's nice to have it put into the story form where we actually can get an example of, here's what happened day one before we were even doing business together. these were the challenges, and then this is what we kind of started, and this is where we ended up. Can you share with me a story of, you don't have to name names or anything, but just give me an idea of like, you're in sales, right? You're sometimes the first person to know what really these people are suffering from.
Right.
What is it? And then just walk me through a complete cycle of in 3 minutes or less of just the idea.
The next hour and a half we're going to go into. I will be doing the PowerPoint behind. It's only 52 slides.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
I definitely do. So whenever we're talking about like that, the fatigue of going through all of the different demos, there's also a thing that I would say asset life cycle and data management fatigue. And that is, you have had the same software for so long, and you've had more people come onto your company, you've lost people maybe from the company, and it's not being utilized at its full extent, right? We see a lot of things from like production, information that's out in the field, of being able to get that in to your corporate office in the right fashion that it needs to be in, or the right way that needs to be coming in.
Because cadence and sequence and...
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And in the oil and gas world, I mean, our data is everything. And the data, being able to turn data into useful information is the difference between a good company and a great company.
Because that's the problem, is people have data and they don't know where the hell it is.
I've talked to so many people, and I would guarantee if you're listening out there, you may have multiple sources of truth within your company. And I know that we've had things in the past of where we've said, where is the most recent well data? And one person in a meeting pulls up their Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and they say, this is it. Well, it's a little bit different than this person sitting in this sheet.
Yes.
And so you start looking at, we need all of our data to be talking to each other. We need all of our people to be able to know exactly where to go. And I've seen it work in systems where it is going along, like all of the pistons and everything are firing and the smoke is going off, and you can get from point A to point B, but baby, it's a struggle.
Yeah. And maybe you're doing it 6 times. Like, for an example, if I'm out in the field and I'm putting something in my iPad that's on a spreadsheet, then I'm coming back to home base and talking to somebody who's in operations there, and now they're having to tweak it, touch it, and share it and all that. And that happens again and again and again. Suddenly, there's all these little micro inefficiencies. What is the consequence?
I mean, what you're describing is like the telephone game, right? Of all of our assets start one place, and then as we get a little bit further from that truth, it gets a little bit skewed, and that could be the equivalency of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in some cases.
Yeah.
And so what we are able to do is, like Novus would come into an organization, be able to do an assessment with any company out there. And that's where we always start. We assess what's currently working, what currently needs additional support, and then we help provide roadmaps.
Nice.
And to be able to start with something like that gives us the ability to ingrain with companies, find ways that we can really help build out those efficiency paths. And once we're able to do that, we start seeing the success almost immediately for them.
Awesome. And then before I do want to ask you a couple of questions about Nape again, but before we do, for those people who are just watching, of course I'll put the links and all that.
Of course.
What do you like the process to be, where if somebody's going, hey, I'm not so sure I want to be a prospect yet, but I would like to have a conversation.
For sure.
What's your best process?
Assessment of your organization is the first step. That's something that we do for so many different companies, and again, of all sizes, from kind of the mid-side operator all the way up to the super majors. You all have talked to consultants before, I am positive, but you've never talked to consultants like us. This is a group that definitely understands how we can talk to the right people, make analysis of what current projects and everything are out there, and how we can help. And we're able to do this in just such a quick fashion, and it's a low stress process for sure. We really love being able to do that, and most of the time, each company knows where you're succeeding and where you're a little bit faltering.
Yeah.
And so just having the conversation with people, again, that have sat in those chairs and understand the things, it was a sense of almost I mean, you were very tense because you knew what you were going into work each day and the different problems that were arising. And to know that there's groups out there that can legitimately help and have danced that dance before, it's a real relief, honestly.
Because I'll conclude this conversation with this, which is when you're sitting down with an organization and they're trying to be better, they're wanting to get improved, they want to take their company from maybe not so tech savvy to really bringing it up to speed. You have different personalities, from the CEO who's really wanting to go in a direction of growth to that CFO that's going, can we contain the cost on this? Right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
And then you got the operations side of it where people are going, those leaders are saying, I need this to work and function. So the idea that you guys are so diverse in your leadership and that you have that background, I think is a great thing. So I highly recommend. I've known Drew for a couple of years. I don't know him personally, right? I just see what he's doing with clients, and I see what he's done over the years with some of the work that I've noticed on LinkedIn. And through conversations, I would just say, sometimes having the right person that's not just trying to sell something, but do a consultation and bring in, like there's something very powerful about having a team reviewing what you need versus just like a one-trick pony. It changes the game. So kudos to you, Drew. Thank you for doing this. And then
appreciate it.
For Nape, I just want to ask, have you made any new clients while you've been here?
We definitely have. We have been able to. This was the first time Novus was having a booth at Nape.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is mostly brand recognition is so important for any company, and we are going up against so many bigger consulting firms. But I stand my ground on saying that we are just as we're a strong company. Those chief accounting officers love us because we are very affordable. We're not trying to go out there and put high rates on anything. We're putting the rates that are fair in the industry, and we know what we can provide.
Well, that's what the thing about being a consulting company to me is, what would you rather do? Pay someone, and I'm making up these numbers, but I'm just giving an example. Would you rather pay someone $5,000 and actually get the right answers, or do you want to have to talk to a bunch of people that the only way they're going to make $5,000 is by selling you something that's $50,000?
That's right.
And that's the problem: is you want someone who doesn't have a reason to sway you in one direction. You want the right answer.
My biggest thing in working for an EMP, and one of the things that I would definitely leave the conversation with, is I always liked working with people that I trusted.
Yes.
Those were the people that I connected with. Those are the people that I still have in my phone, because I knew that whether I called them morning, noon, or night, 24 hours a day, they would be the first ones to pick up the phone and take care of me. And they didn't do it for the paycheck. They did it because they genuinely love the industry. And we come to Nape because Novus and everyone here, all of them, it's great of people that genuinely love this industry, right? I've been in oil and gas now since 2004. I was kind of indoctrinated to it at a younger age, and I love it. And I love the people that I've met along the way. And if there's anything that I am proudest for, it's being able to give back to this industry and work with wonderful clients, showing them how that we can help their company succeed on levels that they didn't even expect. And that in turn makes me feel like we're doing something right, and we've got a company that is
and
really
you
making
are,
a difference.
you have a great team, and I want to thank you. I know we're short on time, but this was awesome. Like I couldn't have dreamt for a better spot for us to have a conversation.
Heck yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Drew.
You. I appreciate you.
And yes, I will make sure Drew's tagged to any posts that I do. I think this one is I'll probably put this on audio too, because this is so great. So it's the Oil and Gas Pitch Podcast on the Oil and Gas Global Network here at the Nape Expo. Thank you so much, and thank you, Drew.
Thank you very much. Let's grow with Novus.
Boom.